Okay, so this happened. Well, I'll save the board, but I mean, hi, welcome, welcome back. It's time for the coffee. It's time for the comics coffee table. Cheers, slancha, to your health. Skol, salud, genki. Prost, is that it? Skal. We talk about comic books for a few minutes every day, and we take a break from our problems, we take a break from our day, and we embrace escapism. And so for the next 20 minutes, please leave your problems at the door and enjoy this coffee table. You know, it's in our mind. It's a virtual coffee table. We're all welcome here. You can pull up a chair and have a cup of whatever it is you're shoving underneath your nose there. Pal, killer, chief, tough guy. Thank you so much for tuning in. We started this daily comic book content a year ago, and we've been going strong ever since. And we've I see new viewers every day, new names, new people, new humans. Hi, fellow humans, ladies, gentlemen, wherever you fit in the grand spectrum of humanity in between, you are welcome here. Pull up a chair, and yeah, we're going to talk about comic books. We started this show last year using a great prop. It's called the 365 Days, the Golden Age of DC Comics. It's a 365 days book. You can find a link in the description to its Amazon page. It's a 2004 Abrams book, curated and written by Les Daniels and Chip Kidd, and photographed by Jeff Spear. And it's a great coffee table book, and it's I've had it for it was given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago, and it's been literally surfing my coffee table ever since. And so it's a coffee table book. It's on my coffee table, and I thought, you know what? We're so used to coming to the coffee table. We're just gonna do what we always do. We're gonna pull up a chair. We're gonna marvel over a stack of books or a movie, and we're just gonna share a few minutes and just have conversation. And that's a good thing. I miss those, and that's why I want to recreate that here, and also recreate the experience of the comic book shop talk, that conversations that we would have. Like, you'd be in line waiting to get rung up, and you're like, hey, what do you got in your stack? Oh, I got that too. Like, oh, you're reading that? How are you finding that? Ooh, what's this here? I love the comic book shop. I want to help keep my local comic shop open. So this show going forward is about bagging, boarding, and boxing our collection. Now, if you have loose comic books at home that don't have bags or boards or a box, you know what? This is great. Join in the conversation. Be like, hey, instead of going to Amazon, I don't even have a car. I don't drive. I mean, I live in Boston. We got great public transportation. I can always get an Uber somewhere, or rent a car, or boost a hot box if you ever need a ride somewhere, Just kidding. But I'm not kidding about this. I could easily buy all of these supplies off of Amazon and have it shipped to my door, and maybe even at a discount of a price too. But I need to go to my local comic book shop, and I need to buy supplies there. And I need to help keep my local comic book shop open, because when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, remember record stores? And we used to have candy stores too, or like the newsstands. I mean, they're still around, but I mean, a lot of those places, those point of sales origins, they're gone now. And sooner or later, I really feel like the industry's changing. The direct market of comic books, aka comic book shops themselves, that market is changing itself as well. And only we can help keep our comic book shops open with patronage by going and not just buying a new release or two, but buying some old comic books, you know, and buying, maybe I bought a used DVD of UHF by Weird Al Yankovic. It's this late 80s movie, and it's terribly dumb and derivative. And it's all steeped in pop culture, and only a geezer like me would want a copy of UHF. It's of its own day. It's some wacky humor from the 20th century. Seriously, none of that applies today. I guess maybe like being an independent having your own independent television station could be a lot like having your own YouTube channel. Perhaps. Maybe Weird Al needs to make a sequel to UHF called YouTube. Wouldn't that be funny? That would be funny. We also use these two books as well all year. My parents got these for Christmas for me. So there are links as well to the description to these two Overstreet guides. One is the guide to grading comics, which is we're going to get really head over heels into. And also as we go along, I want to be valuing my comics as well. And eventually I want to bundle some up and sell them. Like, such as I have the entire Grant Morrison run of Batman. Yeah. I mean, people are into runs. I could clear up some box space and some of my physical space. And it's not about making a profit but there is a speculator game to it as well. Like, how good of a grade are these comics? And what would that be worth in the book? And even though it says it's listed at that, quality-wise, will I get that much for it? You know, or should I just bundle them up and sell them to someone at a fair price, just to another fan who would appreciate having that Grant Morrison run of Batman, like every single one of them, in pretty decent condition? We'll find out. And we're going to find out together. And if you have a slightly managed comic book collection at home, or what I like to call a funny book accumulation, because they just keep accumulating. I mean, now is a good time with the new year to get some, maybe adopt a better habit, a better discipline, a better way. And I need to get better bags. Trust me. I mean, that's happened to a bunch of these bags. So, and this was 100 bags for about $10. $8.99 plus tax, Massachusetts sales tax. So this is going in here again. Here we go. All right. It's Flashpoint number 0. Flashpoint Beyond number 0, which I feel is the gem, a real gem, because it's got Eduardo Risso art, and it's a good little primer. I like that. Should it go into my Crisis long box? No. It's going into the 2002s, because we're breaking up the Crisis long box. We are. I mean, it's a relic of the past. I need to be a bit more mobile. I need to break this stuff down. I need to, adopt a better filing system throughout the entire Crisis long box. Now, mind you, I do not have any single issues of Crisis of an Infinite Earth. I do not have any of these 12 issues of any condition. And but I do have this, I've had this. This is the one and only trade paperback that I've had. This was $30 back then, dude. Yeah. And look, it's the old Bullet logo. Let's look at the indicia real quick for this. I mean, I've had this forever. Oh well, maybe not so much. I mean, this is from 2000. Yeah, which kind of printing this is? Does it say? For a legend containing a complete identification of all the characters in the cover, please go to dccomics.com/crisis/cover.html. Indeed. Yeah, this is a first printing. All right. This couldn't. Is this the first? This is not the first collection of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It can't be. I'll have to, Pika, look that up for tomorrow's episode. We'll have to get to that. But yeah, so we're going to be bagging, boarding the Dark Crisis. Maybe I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. I mean, I like having this curated Crisis story. I mean, it goes from Crisis on Infinite Earths and like to other titles that don't kind of fit. It's like I have this personal curation of the DC Multiverse in a long box called the DC Crisis Long Box #1, and it's full. And it has every issue of the weekly 52 series. It's got every issue of Countdown, which then changed to Countdown to Infinite Crisis. It's got, I filed every talking about that Batman run by Grant Morrison. You know, a lot of that is filed in with Final Crisis because Grant Morrison was writing Final Crisis and Batman at the same time. So he was using Batman as a huge kind of tie-in to Final Crisis, especially with the RIP story point, and because that was the big reveal at the end of his Crisis, that he was killing off Batman for a while, for at least a year, and then came his own Grant Morrison doing Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne, which was also in, you guessed it, the Crisis long box. And there are also other things in there from more recent. I think Doomsday Clock #1's in there. Forever Evil, the New 52, Return of Earth 3, and the Crime Syndicate of America. Or even before that, Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's Earth 2, JLA Earth 2, which was a non-canonical return to into an Earth 3, but it was called Earth 2. But yeah, I mean, you have to read it to believe it. It's like set in it seems to be set in. I don't know if it's I don't think it's continuity, but it does bring a modernization of the Crime Syndicate of America, it was really good. It's called Grant Morrison JLA Earth 2 with art by Frank Quitely, and it's about the reverse universe, and it's out there for you to read for the first time. And remember, it's all brand new if you haven't read it yet. And yeah, would you call this roll, or is this just a printing error? Look at that spine. That's how that roll. I think that's a binding error, perhaps. These are, so I want to keep these in pristine condition, and that's what we're doing. Yeah, we're bagging, we're boxing, we're boarding, we're talking about comic books, and hopefully you'll get to your local comic book shop and buy supplies. Yeah, so I was talking with one of the owners at my local comic book shop. Talk to them, ask them questions. And I asked questions, especially I did a little research. RTFM, read the manual, look stuff up. And so I asked questions, and so yes, I need Mylar bags. Are these Mylar bags? No, they are not Mylar bags. What do I need? Well, I need to be asking for a brand name. So I went in and I said, do you have any Mylites? And the answer was no, but came down to supply chain and plastics and things, being, especially plastics being expensive, post-coof and post-lockdown. But doesn't this look great? These are okay. I like the aesthetic of it now. All right. So we have got Dark Crisis #1, tie-in Flash #1. We're doing the same down the line. You know what I mean? So this was only 4 issues of tie-in. Yeah, we don't have to look up its value or its grading because these are brand new funny books. They have not been damaged, and they went they relatively have gone into a rep a relatively short time. These are probably 8.0 or above. I mean, unless you want to inspect them, and if you find some flaws, let me know. Oh, that would make you'd have to come over for that. I get it. No, you don't have to do that. Oh, here it is. I was gonna say, hey, put up a link. Yeah, this is JLA Earth 2 by Morrison and Quitely. They're great. But see, that's Ultraman, and see, without red trunks. Okay, and see the you can see their evil alternate of Superman, an evil alternate Superwoman, an Owlman. But look, you take away Superman's red boots and red gloves, his red trunks, and his yellow belt. Iconically, that's just always been Ultraman, ever since the 60s. So when the New 52 took away Superman's red trunks for modernity, and Zack Snyder insisted that follow into his movies. Oh, here, Power Ring, Johnny Quick, and I think Aquaman's alternate died-off panel. I might have shown this before because of the Cui Bono angle. Yeah, CSA, that's their table, Cui Bono. Instead of a watchtower based on the moon, they have something called the Panopticon, which is the design of a prison where you're able to see in every cell from every angle from its observation point. I love Grant Morrison, but yeah, Cui Bono, huh? I mean, that means who profits? Follow the money. Cui Bono. That's some comic talk, huh? I do have one issue of a Crisis tie-in. I got this at Wicked Con Boston, Wicked Comic Con, Wicked Boston Comic Con. It's not a Boston Comic Con. It's Boston Wicked Con. I don't want to say the wrong thing. In April of 2002, this is a 9.2, and it's the first appearance of Superboy Prime. And this is like my only loose issue of, well, not a loose issue, it's in a box. You know what I mean? It's of Crisis. This was a special Crisis crossover. Like every DC publication at the time, had that banner. This is like from November of 1985, and but yeah, I mean, I think I'll keep some semblance of the Crisis. I think I'll keep all the Crisis core titles together, and because let's see, I do have the Infinite Crisis hardcover, and because I was really into it, and it had new art, and in a couple of places, it like a changed story beat, and it was really it had a suffered from like that Ridley Scott or George Lucas thing. There's the original version, and then there's a redacted special edition too. And let's put that over there. So I mean, Joshua Williamson wrote this. He's one of these up and coming DC stars. He's been there for years now. He's like one of the leading comic book writers that they have. It was art by Daniel Sampere, who did his own inking for most of it, which is really impressive. And coloring by Alejandro Sanchez. And I wanted to say that just sometimes these event titles get bogged down in production time. So, I mean, even it happened in Final Crisis. It was started by J.G. Jones. It was supposed to be Grant Morrison and J.G. Jones. And he bailed. That's an unfair way to say it. But the final 2 issues were drawn by Carlos Pacheco and Doug Mankey. And we lost J.G. Jones's beautiful art along the way. And this is a variant cover. And this is on a cardstock. This is $6.99 cover price. So this is getting its own bag and its own. That's it. Yeah. Plus it's an odd number too. As well, rather. Odd number 2 sounds like a personal problem you'd have in a bathroom. Oh, what a crappy thing to say. But yeah, I mean, this is how we take care of our comic books. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you here at our coffee table. Now we've just get into the swing of things. When you buy a new comic book, have some supplies. Put it right into a bag and a board. You know, I know I'm breaking some kind of rules or some kind, or it's not, you know, like doubling up like this. But you know what I mean? It's just like I just want it to be cohesive. You know, there's a personal flair in this too. It's like this isn't some codified thing. I mean, I know I can keep these in better bags and a better board, and you know what I mean. Heck, I could slab them all and never bring and read them. Like they'll never be touched by human hands. No. I want to read these. You know, I just reread them all. It was okay. You know, it was this popcorn movie. It just all it did was restore the multiverse from 52 into an infinity, and so our 52 is kind of like a local multiverse, and now there's like Hypertime and Omniverse and Divine Continuum, and I just want to buy some comic books, but still, it's like it's fun, and that's what crisis stories are. Yeah, so I will. We're going to sign off. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. Thank you so much for tuning into the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair. You're welcome here, and leave behind your problems just for a few minutes in a day, and we're going to talk about comic books and remember why we love this. And just, yeah, these huge stories, you know, filled with these wonderful characters that we've grown to love over the years. And, yeah, just these crisis stories. I mean, just, I missed out on so many like little things over the past couple of years that have added up to this current crisis, which will now reset the playing field, and we can go on again. I call it, a lot of the times I call it winding Julie's wristwatch. This is called, you know, Julia Schwartz being the big brain behind the Silver Age and what started, you know, multiverse in a way. So the DC multiverse specifically, but that's where, you know, we're coming from with these crisis stories. And yeah, it's been really nice. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. Please like and subscribe. We make daily content here. We meet every day at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. So come aboard. There's room for everyone. We'll see you tomorrow in those funny pages. Okay, bye-bye.